Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Eddie Hearn gave an interview with the trade paper, UK trade paper, Boxing News, on their YouTube channel, and he said he was talking about Ryan Garcia. Obviously, that subject was broached, as inevitably it would be. Now, prior to that, he talks about the spat between De La Hoya and Canelo, which happened at the press conference for Canelo's fight with Munguia, and he said, between the two, I would pick Canelo. I think, he's a great man and a great fighter, and he's a real man. He's a stand-up guy. Really, Eddie? Well, he failed drug tests. I mean, De La Hoya, whatever you think of him, I don't have a particularly high opinion of him. Canelo did fail a drugs test. Stand-up man. I mean, I know you were, you made a little bit of a twat of yourself with the Conor Benn thing. It wasn't handled very well at all. But a stand-up guy, really? You want to go down that avenue again with failed drug tests, really? And then later on, 5 minutes later, suddenly the subject of Ryan Garcia failing the PED test, or the whatever it's called, SARMS test. I mean, I'm no expert on this. Don't get me wrong, no expert at all. Let's go speak to, Lee at Inside the Distance. He knows about this stuff. I don't really. I just know the basics. But he was talking about this, and he said, well, it's Garcia came in 3.5 pounds or 3 pounds overweight, and now there's this, and Devin. I mean, he's got every right to be irate, and he says that it was an unfair advantage, and I think he's right. Okay. In fairness to Hearn, he did say every fighter has a right to defend themselves and come forth with any possible evidence they may have, which is not what Conor Benn did, because he had this enormous dossier which he wouldn't even give to the British Boxing Board of Control. So there you go. But even so, Eddie he kind of stopped short of saying Garcia is 100% guilty. But nevertheless, he was saying, well, the thing is, you see, Devin says it was an unfair advantage, and I've got to agree. I think it was an unfair advantage, isn't it? Really. So what you're saying is, you defend Conor Benn to the hilt, okay? This guy's something else. You defend Conor Benn to the hilt. You call Canelo a great man, not even mentioning the fact that he's, failed a PED test and received no real punishment for it whatsoever. And then 5 minutes later, maybe not even 5 minutes, you're talking about Garcia being tainted. Eddie, I'm not remotely religious, but there is there's something in the Bible about hypocrisy. I don't know whether you're religious. I'm not at all, not remotely. But basically, it boils down to, and again, I can't quote the Bible, but it's definitely from the word hypocrisy. There is is it a psalm or a parable or something? But anyway, it says that if a moral point has no consistency, it ceases to have meaning. There is no meaning to any kind of moral stance if it's one rule for one and one rule for another. And you know this, Eddie. And just occasionally, despite the fact that Eddie Hearn is extremely, he's quite a charismatic guy and bad looking, and he's got that, he's got a presence about him, and he's got the gift of the gab, and it's all Essex boy patter and all this stuff. Occasionally, he will reveal what lies beneath. Let's say that. Let's put it that way. What lies beneath. And I think with this interview, he did that, and it's kind of embarrassing and rather galling to actually have to listen to. Look, you defended Conor Benn to the hilt. You're continuing to do so. You made a pig's ear of that. You're getting on. You're talking about Canelo because he's suddenly your client again. How wonderful he is. What a great fighter. What a great man he is. And then when it comes to Ryan Garcia, suddenly the perspective is extremely different. That's hypocrisy. There's no other word for it. So I just had to get that little bit off my chest because I'm sick to. I've always said I trust Eddie Hearn about as far as I could sling him, which isn't very far, especially with my back. But the point is, he is a good bullshitter. He is good at what he does. He's an extremely good promoter. He works like an absolute Trojan. You can't knock the guy. He is, the title of his little autobiography was Relentless, and a very apt title for for this guy's autobiography, because he is, God knows when he sleeps, God knows when he sees his missus and his kids. I have no idea. He's all over the world. I think they've cloned him. There's about 6 Eddies running around all over the world. But so none of that stuff is what this video is about. If I had him in my corner, great. But I don't have him in my corner. And I'm a boxing fan, and I like to feel like I'm objective. In fact, I am objective. Some people say you're a hater, you're this, you don't like this. No. Anyone is going to get criticised if I feel it's necessary. Anyone will get praised if I feel it's necessary. I'm not a fanboy. I am objective, and I will criticise anyone. And although Hearn is an extremely good promoter, probably the best international promoter in the world currently, and puts on some terrific shows, that smacked of pure hypocrisy, that interview. Okay, go and have a look at it. Boxing News is the channel. Boxing News, the trade paper. It's got the title, Eddie Hearn reacts to Ryan Garcia's positive VADA test, or something like that. Go and have a look at it, and you tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. All right, just had to get that one off my chest. Like I say, thank you for your time, as always. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. And I'm looking forward to reading your comments on this one. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.